Welcome to the channel. I'm really excited to share a particular private pickup that we were able to uncover, in which I've already sold 7 out of 11 items on this particular private buyout. And my husband actually is very, very good about going on to Craigslist every day and finding people who are looking either to have a sale that particular weekend or even during the week. So this one, about 2 weeks ago, he uncovered an opportunity in which he saw a photo, as you can see here, in which there was a brass duck, as well as some other really cool art and vintage figurines featured here. So he went ahead and looked at the ad and he read it thoroughly. And at the bottom, the seller had actually said, if you would like to come in and preview this sale before it even starts, go ahead and message me and we'll schedule a time. So he did just that. And the person wrote right back and said, okay, great. You want to come by at 11? So he came in, he's like, hey, we got to go check out this sale. I'm going to postpone my work calls. I got the address. She said, come on by. I'm like, great, let's go do it. So we hopped in the truck and we actually realized it was going to be about 30 minutes to get to this place. It was out in wine country. And, it's definitely a risk, right, on these type of trips, because you may get there and this person may want to ask, $1 million for their things, or you get there and the things are not really what you thought from the picture. But we decided to take the risk. That's just what makes this fun. And we went and drove up to wine country and got to see beautiful scenery, animals, and windy roads, and just get some fresh air. So once we got to the main road to head up to this particular house, my husband always laughs because when we head out to these country sales, there's either a dirt road or a gravel road or some sort of interesting obstacle to get around. And we noticed, oh, here we go, we're going up a big hill and it's a gravel road, which is fine. It just adds to the adventure to these things. Once we got up to the hill, we hopped out and were greeted with a lovely older couple, but they appeared to be really frazzled and they were rushing around and trying to get things out, pricing things. But once we arrived, they were very kind and they were like, gosh, yeah, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you guys. I know it's a long drive if you're in town, and it really was for us. But they welcomed us in very warm-heartedly and said, go ahead and take a look around. If you see anything, just put a pile together. And that's exactly what we did. After a few minutes, or about 10 or 15 minutes, they invited us into their house to see if we would be interested in any of their more vintage or antique furniture items, of which I don't do much furniture. I just don't have the room to store furniture. I feel like I do pretty well with some, larger art pieces and things like that, but I'm not interested in furniture, so we headed back out. Anyway, we were able to cover a lot of fun things, put it in a pile, and just made an offer, said, throw it out there. Hey, would you take $40 for everything? And they said, yes, no problem. We would love that. We really need to get rid of these items. We're moving to see our family in Connecticut, and we just need to really purge this stuff. And it's just been such a stressful process. So that's what we did. So now I'd like to do a little rundown of all the things we picked up and what I actually listed and sold them for, as well as showing you that out of this group of items, I was able to sell 7 out of 11 in less than a week, which is an amazing sell-through rate. I'm already at about, $178 in net profit at this point. I still have 4 other items to sell in which I have not listed this camera. It was only $2 at the sale, which is incredible. It works. We tested it. It came with a case. So probably maybe $35, $40 net profit on that one to add to the additional 3 items. So I'd love to take you through it. So here's the brass duck that we actually spotted in that photo earlier, in which enticed us to come to this sale to begin with. And you can see how cute it is. It's sort of a whimsical looking duck with an umbrella. My photos weren't great. The lighting was not the best. I've been trying to wean myself off the light box as I sell a lot on Marketplace, and I feel like those users on Marketplace or buyers on Marketplace tend to like this sort of natural look. But it wasn't that big. It's kind of a small 5x5 piece, and it sold for my full asking price the same day of $25. So I really enjoyed this piece because the seller, her brother actually made this many years ago. You can tell it was probably done in the 70s or 60s based on the wood frame and how it's carved. And of course, this linen type framing that goes along with that era. But I really enjoyed it because there was that history there, and it was someone in the area that made this. And I just love the colors and how tiny it was in this sort of elaborate framing. But it had artist signed, beautiful frame, like I said, and color palette. And it sold the same day for $38 to a repeat buyer in the area. So this was a really unexpected item. I've never picked up a pipe before, but my husband was looking through this box at the sale, and there was 2 or 3 pipes in it, and he said, "Hey, come look at these." And I kind of digged around in there. The box was kind of cool. I kind of wish I picked up the whole box with all the pipes, but this particular pipe was just kind of drew my eye in the craftsmanship. I've never seen anything like it, but you can see it looks like it was hand carved. I didn't even notice that there was this engraving on the side that talked about it was made in Denmark. But I ended up grabbing it, threw it up online, did some comps, and I had so many buyers that were interested in getting this. However, they were trying to talk me down. I knew with that much interest, I could probably get close to my asking price, but I ended up working with a customer online on a private deal through Marketplace. I ended up giving it to him for $55, and it was really sweet because he needed some help in getting the money to me, so I ended up taking half down and then waiting a couple days for him to be able to pay me the other half through PayPal. I know that's a little more work, but for someone who really can truly appreciate a piece like this, I don't really mind going through the extra effort. So boy, this sale was really heavy on the ducks, but I thought this was a really cute piece. It was a hand-carved wooden duck that was made with a golf club. I mean, when do you ever see something like this? I mean, it's just adorable. I thought it was kind of kooky in a way. But for those golf lovers out there, I knew that this would be a hot item. And as you can see, it sold, and it sold for my full asking price of $25 in the same day. So this duck was also very unique. I've never seen anything like it. It had this unique texture to it. The color was one again I've never seen. It kind of had just a rustic feel. And when I got home and did some more research, it actually was from this artist, Stan Langwaite, and he had developed some of these unique sculptures made out of Mount St. Helens ash. And I thought that was just kind of cool. It was very unique. And it ended up selling for my full asking price to a customer in the area. And when she arrived, she was just so excited to have this because she had a story to share, and that was her father had purchased a ash sculpture, not to this degree, when he had traveled there years and years ago. And she just said it was really a great memory and something she just had to have. So my husband actually picked this thing up. It looked kind of neat because it had a rustic element, farmhouse kind of vibe. But this particular sale had a lot of winery boxes. You could tell since they lived right next to a winery, they were into wine. And this was an antique, primitive T-handle wood auger that they used to drill holes into the wine caskets. So he picked that up. It wasn't something that I would want to pick up, but he was like, this is actually really unique.
And I ended up shipping this out the next day after listing it for my full asking price. So I typically don't pick up books, but since it was an Atlas of Oregon and it was done by the University of Oregon, which is Eugene, I thought, you know what? I bet someone locally would really appreciate this. I usually try to pick up things that have some historical element in my area. I find that's a good way to make a quick sale. And this one was kind of fun because it talked about the colleges, it talked about the labor force, and I kind of positioned it in a way of, hey, you can take a look at how it used to be back in the 70s and maybe compare it to how it is today. It took a little longer to sell, about 8 days. But it did sell to a woman locally for $20, and she was really happy because she thought it would be a fun coffee table book. So this was a little bit of a risky piece. I've never really picked up anything quite like it. It kind of looked a little creepy, to be honest, but you never know what people are collecting. So this was more of a test. I mean, gosh, I only paid $40 for all these items. I'm willing to pick up things I maybe never would normally pick up at that price. But you can see here it was an antique portrait made from colored crayons. I thought, again, kind of creepy, but it had some historical element to it, and there was a little rip here. I haven't sold it yet. I haven't really had much interest, to be honest, but you never know. Maybe someone will come by and send me an offer for $40, or maybe it'll sell closer to Halloween. I don't really know what this is going to do, but I'll keep you posted. Next is this gorgeous large oil painting of roses in what looks like to be a basket. I had to pick it up based on the color palette and just the use of the impasto technique. And look at this detail. I mean, the colors that they used, or this person used, just really brought out life into these roses. It just looks like it was out of a gallery, to be honest. There was some issues with the frame. Probably was in a garage, I'm assuming, or got exposed to some water at some point. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get these stains out. But I don't think that's going to affect the value of something like this. I mean, it is vintage. It is artist signed. I don't know who Sydney is, but lovely, lovely detail. Nicely framed, ready to go. I hope to get 150. I actually had it at $95 to begin with for local pickup, but I've really been trying to stretch myself in shipping larger paintings using some techniques I've been learning on making custom boxes. So I bumped it up to 150 just to see if I can get an order somewhere around the United States. So we'll hope for the best, but I thought it was a beautiful painting. Now I'm going to start with some of the items that have not sold in this collection yet, but that are still listed on Facebook Marketplace and some on eBay. So this particular one is a lovely piece. I just thought the attention to detail in the painting and the hand-carved elements of this duck was really eye-catching, and I grabbed that immediately when I got there. There was a little bit of a repair here you can see in the tail, and then also there was a little chip on the back, but I don't think that's going to make too big of a difference in the value of this piece. And then when I got home, I flipped it over, and it was signed by Don Profota. So I looked him up, and I learned a little bit about who this was. He did some work with Ducks Unlimited. I've actually sold Ducks Unlimited a duck box before, so I was familiar with that. And nice size, 24 inches, pretty large. I think this would look really cool on a bookshelf or maybe up high, or just someone that is a hunter or just loves, loves ducks. So here's a little bit of a clip that I used on Facebook Marketplace. I do actually use these clips on eBay as well, so I'll do them here first, and then I save those and then import them into eBay to just kind of give it a little bit more flair. So yeah, I have this one at $125. Looking at comps on these types of figurines, they're around $100 to $250. So I would take an offer for $100. I do have some interest, but again, it hasn't sold quite yet.
So, in conclusion, was this worth it? Was it worth driving out for about an hour using gas, time, all of those things to pick up 11 items? I sure think it was. I not only met a lovely couple out in the country, I got to go to somewhere that I've never been to before. And I also developed a rapport with some Facebook Marketplace customers which I gained some followers. And I just learned about stories that other people had in regards to these items and what made it special to them, not only to sell it, but also to purchase it. So based on this particular sale, I'm hoping that at the end of the day, with the other 4 items that I have listed, that I will net profit around $460. So what do you think? Do you think it's worth your time to find these sort of opportunities online by reaching out to local sellers who are trying to get rid of their items? Again, this is our experimental phase in trying to figure this all out. But if you have a story to share, or if this is something you've been doing for years, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to see it. Thank you. So stay tuned, because the next episode, I really want to run through another private pick with a well-known family in our area, and how, again, my husband was able to get linked up. We were the only 2 people that were able to get on the sale early, and it was quite an amazing pickup with art, antiques, and some furniture items that were on the smaller side that I thought I'd test out. So please stay tuned, and I'll share that next.